Hello.
It's an added pressure of thinking, you know, we've got 4 people to coordinate in this house. And I'm not going to lie, they're not helping enough.
No.
Hello.
Daddy, I love him.
Mother thanks you.
Right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
One.
Hello and welcome to the It's a Drama podcast. I'm Liz.
And I'm Brian.
And we're back this week to listen to Brian moaning about
Moan,
everything
moan,
he's been
moan.
doing over the last week.
Yep.
That's it. That's the show.
That's it. Should we just finish it now? Because we're outside as well.
We are.
Yeah, outside. Hopefully it's going to sound great because we're
Yeah.
outside.
We're outside. The mountain is behind us. It's a glorious blue day.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud of us, actually, because we came out here for coffee this morning, didn't we? And we said, shall we just make this a content day? Should we just do content today? Because I know, and we're going to get into that in a minute, that you have got masses of other things on your mind to do at the moment.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate the fact that we're down here just sitting on our deck. We've made the effort. I carried all the stools down. You know,
Umbrella.
I've carried the umbrella down. I did so much.
Yeah.
And then you set it all up with the microphones and we're down here recording this podcast.
We're out on the deck. The deck is about, 25 meters away from the house. And we've got our Rodecaster Pro earlier on this year. And I'm going to talk about things like this in a bit. I put electric sockets out here on the deck so we could actually work out here and do stuff like this.
Is this podcast just going to be about
Me.
Is it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's my turn.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not. But it's just,
I'm getting that feeling though. I am getting that feeling from you. Like I just said to you then, I said, well, should we put an outline? You said, no, I just want to talk about my stuff.
yeah, but you always add something. So
I thought
there'll be a story that comes out.
I thought you were going to say it's always about you then.
Correct.
Before we start the show, I just do need to tell you that in a couple of, well, it's not that far away now, probably 7 weeks,
And counting.
we're doing something major and we don't want to say what it is yet. We just want to keep it quiet for the time being.
Yeah.
Before we go and announce what it is we're doing.
Yeah.
But all these things are leading to that. This is why we're at the moment we're trying to get money. We're trying to, just get rid of things, downsize, and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
So, and also before I finish, this is about me.
Me.
Listen to my voice. The Liz
It's much
Speaker
more
Show.
important than mine.
No, what I was going to say
What?
is we're trying a new thing today, aren't we, Bri?
Are we?
Yes.
Right.
Remember on the podcast, I said to you, at the end, we're going to try this because we did it in Canada.
Yep.
Fail.
It's a big fail. Put the slider off if you want to hear it.
We did this in Canada, and actually I said to you the other day in the car, why don't we make this a regular feature of the It's a Drama podcast, where at the end of each episode,
Yeah.
you and I, without knowing what each other are going to say,
Yeah.
go off on our own and record it doesn't have to be long,
2-hour session.
2 or 3 minute, with me
Yeah.
it'll probably be an hour and a half,
Yeah.
but a 2 or 3 minute snippet
Yeah.
of just our thoughts on anything really, just how we are.
Yeah. But are you going to start saying things like, crikey, Brian, there's me just saying it as what I was supposed to say, and there was not, I don't know, what was it you said on the last one?
Listen.
What?
Listen.
No,
For a start,
what?
stop rubbing your thumbs together.
All right.
Because Tess has told you about that. That's a nervous
It
twitch
is.
you have.
Well,
So
it's not a
stop
twitch.
rubbing the skin off your thumb just
Yeah.
because you know that you're being nervous. You know you're saying something out of the box and makes you feel uncomfortable. What I want to say to you is you can say whatever you want.
But I did that, but then you said, I'm going to put some titles on this.
Okay,
You go out the room.
I promise I won't.
Okay.
I just want you to be yourself. But try and make it
Okay.
about me and how much
Yeah.
you love me. No, honest. We're going to try it. We'll try it.
We'll
try it and see what it's like.
See what it's like. Yeah.
It might be a disaster. It might be embarrassing. But I just thought, when I'm listening to a podcast, especially to a couples podcast, I
Yeah.
always want to know really what the other one is thinking.
What did you think of that show, sort of thing? Is
What?
that what you want to say, or is it just what is it you're up to and stuff?
I don't know. What do you think?
Well, do you know what? I can't remember why we said this. We were on the ski lift in Canada, and that's when we did the video, didn't we?
Yeah.
Or the podcast, and you said something, and then I had on the way back. I was skiing back to the car.
Do you know what it was, Brian?
Yeah,
We
I
did
can't really remember why.
Well, you can remember, and you know too well what happened, because you upset me quite a while for a while there, because what it was is we did a podcast in Canada, and I said, I just want to say something private to the camera, and then I went on camera and I said, I love Brian Deacle so much. He's the best husband in the world. I can't tell you, world, how much I love my husband. He is just amazing.
Really? I don't think it was all that, but
yes, I did say that.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I even cried because I was so emotional when I talked to you about it. Actually, you can go back and listen to that episode.
What
if you
did
don't
I
believe
say?
me.
It's terrible. I think it's a man thing. You can't remember what you said.
Well, I'll remind you, because I know exactly what you said.
All right, here we go.
So I came back to the cafe and you're like, what's wrong? Why have you been crying? I said, because I just did a little snippet on the podcast about how a little private snippet. And I said, why don't you do the same? Thinking, that
but you didn't tell me what you'd said.
Well, because I think you're a mind reader.
All right.
As all wives think of their husbands. Yeah. Why don't you know what I'm thinking?
Well,
I know what you're thinking, so why don't you know what I'm thinking?
If a man could ever think what a woman's thinking right at that time, he'd be a flipping genius.
Well,
even
like
Einstein couldn't do that.
It's a skill that a woman has. We always know what everyone else is thinking. So it's annoying when you don't know what we're thinking. But what I said to you was, go off, Brian. And you took the camera and you skied down to the car. Yeah. And I can't remember what rubbish you were talking about, but you were just blabbing on.
Well, there you go. You can't remember.
You were just blabbing on about how your skis were. Weren't you talking about something about the knobs on your skis or something?
Probably the knob on my ski.
The bindings and your, I don't know what you were talking. The weather? It was probably the weather. Was it the weather?
No, I really don't know. I think it was just something about being together as a family.
Oh.
And anyway.
Oh, was it?
Probably. I really can't. Do you know what? I struggle.
Do you?
I often do struggle. I struggle.
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. Just getting windy out here. I struggle when I meet people, because we met someone the other day and it's like, I know all about this stuff. And I'm like, please don't talk about what I've said on the podcast, because I really can't probably remember more than what happened 2 weeks ago. And I don't know why that is. It's because you do so much content, you can't physically remember all the stuff. It's a bit like meeting an actor and saying, I love that part when you're in that play or whatever it was. And they go, I can't remember that one. What I'm trying to say, it's hard when you meet someone and they know more about you than that. I think we have talked about that before.
Do you know what, Bri? I bet if I asked you right here and now how many times Liverpool have won the World Cup.
The World Cup, yes.
Or the Champions League. Mm-hmm. Would you be able to tell me?
Yes.
Would you be able to tell me every captain that Liverpool has ever had?
No.
She would.
No, I wouldn't.
Yes, she would.
No, I wouldn't.
Would you be able to tell me how many players there are on the Liverpool team?
Well, there's only ever 11.
Well, do you know their names?
Yep.
Exactly. So don't come to me telling me, I can't remember. I struggle.
Yeah, but that's different because you see something every week. So you say something different every week.
You have got selective memory is what you've got. You remember the things you want to remember.
Yeah.
But when it comes to remembering things you should remember.
Like anniversaries.
You can't.
Yeah, I do. Remember them.
Right. Come on then. What is it you want to moan about on the podcast? What's been going on with you, Bri?
Well, it's about what we were saying before about, you get so much stuff in your life as you accumulate stuff, and you want to, you get these things, you think, it'll make me happier. And, I did a great trade before, it was about 2016, 17, and I purchased a boat through a trade. The guy was selling the boat. I said, but he needed a few things doing. So I did some work in lieu, and we didn't exchange any money, and we just swapped the things.
What did he need doing?
He needed his heating installed. He worked for a company in, a plumbing suppliers, and he'd purchased a new house. And I said, listen, I'll throw some labour in theory in, and we swapped the things, So you
did the labour and he gave you the boat?
Yes.
Right.
Yep. So no money was exchanged as such. And so we had a boat, and we used it an awful lot. And then, after the world trip, we used it a few times. We took your mum out on it and stuff, and had some weekends down on the lake and things like that. It was great. I really enjoyed it. And then it just got to the point where we just never went out anymore because the kids had grown up a bit. And me and you, it was quite a hassle getting the boat in and out, isn't it? And then it just sat there for probably 5 years now, never been used. And it just, it's getting full of moss and and it's all getting moldy inside because the cupboards start to rip with all the storms and things like that. And you just think, oh, what am I going to do? I need to get rid of it. We need to move on. And then, so that's what I'm saying is like, normally you just think, all right, we'll get the jet wash out, give it a clean. And then you try and see if things work. And then that doesn't work. The power trim doesn't work. The engine won't start. And so you've got to trace out all these faults. And that's what I wanted to say is like, when is it beneficial that you know so much stuff regarding maintenance and things that you don't get someone in and you spend hours fixing things? Do you know? Is it beneficial?
Do you know the stuff?
Yeah, because you don't get the man around to fix this or do that because you do it all yourself. It's like I am a licensed electrician. I am a licensed plumber and gas fitter and stuff. So a lot of things. And you just feel like, sometimes it would be nice just to get the man in. Because you get all this stuff, that you accumulate all this stuff, but it takes your time away, doesn't it?
Mm.
And that's what I was struggling with because, the trailer lights didn't work. And it's just like, there's a guy coming, we've sold the boat, hopefully. He's come in to pick it up. And he said, like, does everything work? And I'm like, yeah, it all works. And I thought I plugged it to tow it up the road and down again to make sure everything was still okay. And the indicators don't work. And you're like, and they're LED clusters, so you can't fix them, because they're molded together and there's a wire coming out the back that you can't open them up. So it's just that sort of stuff, isn't it? Like, that it's a moan, but it's great that I spent probably a week in total cleaning the boat out, getting rid of all the mold, washing everything down, making everything look good, stapling things back on the upholstery and all that. It's just so much stuff. But yes, it's great, and we're going to get some money for it, hopefully.
From what I see, it was that boat has been sitting, like you say, sitting on the driveway. It's just like part of the furniture now.
Yeah,
we don't use it. And the reason we don't use it is because when it's just the two of you, it's a massive thing to do. And
it's an expensive weekend.
It is an expensive.
It's about $300 in fuel.
We have had the best times ever on that boat. We have got the kids growing up it would take it out to the lake, wouldn't we, on a Sunday? We'd take picnics, we'd be out there all day. We had a
water
big
skiing
ski biscuit, water skiing.
Fantastic, yeah.
Yeah. So we have definitely had our use out of that. That's the first thing I want to say. So don't think that, because I know that you were saying to me like, oh, well, why aren't we still going to use it? Why have we all of a sudden stopped using it? But I just think it comes in seasons of your life that you or stages or whatever you want to call it, that's the time for the boat.
Yeah.
And now it's time to let it go. So first of all, I just wanted to say that to you because I know that was bothering you, and I can see why that would bother you because you just want to hold on to it. You want to keep those memories
when you
going.
Get it all working again, you're like, oh, I'd love to take this out now. It's nothing quite like putting the engine down into the water and, hitting the throttle and just seeing that water, the way it changes colour and that blue and everything. That's what I love about boating, like, that freedom feel that you're out and away. But you did say something when we had a Range Rover once, and you're always thinking, oh, it's going to go wrong at some time, or something's going to happen, or a warning sign would come on or something like that. And the boat's similar. It would start beeping and then like, okay, it's not getting enough oil, or the oil's getting low, and there's always something to do. This is
what I said to you when me and you had that big talk out on the driveway the other day.
Yeah.
Because you'd done all the boat. I'll talk about that in a minute from what I saw, what you did to the boat. But you got it all. You've worked for hours on it, and we can talk about fixing things and whether that's beneficial or not. But what I wanted to say to you, and you said to me, why don't we just keep it? And I said, because boating is one of those things, or at least for us, like you say, the Range Rover, we bought a Range Rover in the UK and we shipped it over back to New Zealand to make money on it, to try and sell it and make money, and it was a disaster. The bloody thing was a rust bucket. It cost us far more than I think we just about broke even. And every time we were in it, I was paranoid because we'd invested like £10,000 into it.
$20,000, wasn't it?
Yeah. And because we'd invested that money into it, whenever there was a beep or a funny noise, my stomach would just clench and I was always scared. And like, this is what I said to you on the driveway the other night. I felt like that about the boat.
Yeah.
Because we'd go out on the boat, and this, I'm not putting the blame, I'm not saying this is your fault, but
No.
I would always be watching your face when you were driving the boat. And if there was a flicker of a
Sound.
a frown or a tut from you, I'd start thinking, oh God, what's wrong with it?
Yeah.
Is it going to cost us a lot of money? Are we going to be stranded? You know, and I know it's probably a bit of an over exaggeration, but it wasn't relaxing for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's relaxing for me when I go in a kayak that's going to have nothing go wrong with it, and I don't owe any money on it, and it's just easy. Things that can go wrong and have cost money and need maintenance and need skill and need attention stress me out.
Yeah.
They really do.
I think it get to the point where it does with everyone. And that's why people like to buy new. And then it's like, all I just need to do is get it serviced. But
that would be worse because
know,
you'd be
it's
investing all that money.
I know it's more money, and it's just more money. And you just think, oh yeah, but at least I can relax. Well, it's a new car. It's like, well, nothing's going wrong with it. And yeah, then it gets a recall for this and gets a recall for that. And it's just taking all your time.
So going back, this is what I saw. The car, the boat has been on the driveway.
Yeah.
Piece of furniture.
5 years, just
like you say,
anything.
covered in green moss. Just we couldn't see the inside of it because it was covered with this.
I
big...
just was always frightened to open it because I just knew it was going to be a mess in there.
Yeah.
The
trailer's rusty. It needs welding. The tyre on the front of the trailer was flat. Which
the jockey wheel one.
The jockey wheel. That was depressing, wasn't it? Every time you drove up and looked at that, and it was like, oh God.
I know, but that's how it makes you feel, isn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And it's so we decided, because we're trying to raise money and but sell some stuff. It was like,
let's sell the boat.
Let's sell the boat.
Yeah.
So you started on it, and your words to me were, it won't be a big job. All I've got to do is staple some things down on the seat, make it right inside.
Yeah.
And what you're saying is, when you start something, it's like opening a can of worms. When you start something,
it's a knock-on effect to everything. Yeah.
And it's like, well, I can't do that until I've done that, and I can't do that until that's fixed. That can't be fixed until I've ordered the part for that. And it was just, I could see it in you building up and up and up and up. And I did say to you last week, and I'm glad I didn't, because now you've sold it, hopefully. But I did say to you last week, Brian, put the cover back on and leave it. Just forget it.
I know,
for
it was
another
getting to
year.
the point where it's just like, yeah, but before I put the cover back on, I've got to do this and that, because that's all, the staples have gone rusty on that. And this, do you know what I mean? It's just a whole load of work. So and it's enjoyable because if you fix it and you get it right, there's nothing, the power trim not working, and it's just like, I've got to trace the wires out, find where the fault is. Oh, there's the dirty connector, and it's just like, but then, you've got to chop the connector out and rewire it all. It's things that just take so much time and brain power that you just think, oh, what's the point? Is it worth it? And that's when it's like, just get rid of it, sell it, and, put your effort into something else. It's great when it's done, but trying to stay positive with it, it's just niggles you. You wake up and you think, oh, that's what it'll be.
Just like the faults on there.
Yeah,
and
the
stuff.
faults and things.
Yeah. But hopefully you've sold it now. Are you just tired?
No, it's not tired, because we're planning on doing stuff, and again, there's maintenance that this needs that done on the house before, and it's just like, I need to get stuff done. And,
Do you feel stretched?
Yeah, a little bit. But, and plus you're trying to work and keep everything going, aren't you?
Creating content and keeping our community going and, doing, I mean, when you say it like that, it's almost like, well, that can't be hard, but it's just other things to do, isn't it? Yeah,
but it's life, isn't it? It's just, that's what I'm saying. The amount of stuff that you get, is it worth to have all this stuff and go, oh, look at me, I've got a boat and I've got this, I've got the extra cars. You've got to look after everything, and it costs money, and you just think, downsizing is a good idea instead of going bigger, bigger, bigger.
I think it was Chris Evans, the BBC radio DJ, that said, every time you buy something, you're giving away a piece of your life in time.
Yeah.
Because everything you buy is going to need your time to spend looking after it, basically, isn't it? It's just the upkeep of it. I think that's what's happening here. I think it's just a lot. We've got a house, 4-bedroom house. We've got 2 acres of land. We've got 2 cars that are constantly, well, one of them's broken and needs fixing, and we haven't got the time to do that.
Yeah. But it's at the point where it's like, you're not going to get anything for it anyway. And
Yeah.
do you want to spend $2,000 or $3,000 to fix the gearbox? You're like, not really.
No. The lawnmower's just broken, and so you invest in that.
Yep. Septic tank needs cleaning.
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing, wasn't it?
Yeah. So when the septic tank, you know, it's been 7 years since it's been last sort of cleaned out, as they call it, sucked out. And with the septic tank here, you have to dig down a meter to get to the septic tank to get it ready for the guys to come in with the truck. And you just think, yep, that needs to be done. And you just think, yep, okay. So it's just, again, it's just constant, isn't it? Things. And that's what I was trying to say about, if I didn't know all this stuff, you'd just get someone in to do it, wouldn't you? But then it costs you more money.
Yeah, but that's like saying, I'm just going to get a cleaner, or I'm going to buy ready meals, or I'm going to get someone to edit our videos for us, or I'm going to hire a manager that runs our community.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is because you know the stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's because you're not willing to let go and hand over and pay for help.
Mm. Yeah, that's true. You know, that goes back to, you know, when you're a tradie or project managing, and you can't micromanage. You have to let go, because you get to a point where it's like you have to let those people take over. But when it's you're managing your own place, you do micromanage yourself, don't you? Like, you know, and so you then do everything. Because I know, do you know, in the past we have got people in to do a few things, just like that guy who came in that wants to put the blinds on not the blinds, hang the curtains in England. And you think, well, that's what his job is. That's what he does. And he made a right mess, didn't he? Like, you know? And it was just, I had to go and take all his screws out because they fell out. And all that. You know, you just think, what was the point in spending £500 to get him to do it? I could have just done it myself. You know, it's stuff like that pees you off.
I know.
Like, you know, you get a
like,
professional in and they're shit.
I know.
Yeah.
And I feel a little bit like that about a cleaner. Well, no, do you know what? I'm going to be really honest here. And this is the other thing as well, is you've got to remember we've got 2 adult kids living with us as well.
Yeah.
So it isn't just me and you where we can keep everything super tidy and everything's really easy, and we know that the food in the fridge is going to stay there because we've bought it and there's only me and you eating it. And I'm not like going, oh, I wish our kids didn't live with us. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's an added pressure of thinking, you know, we've got 4 people to coordinate in this house. And I'm not going to lie, they're not helping enough.
No.
They're not helping enough.
They don't. You know, even down to cleaning their own bathrooms and stuff, like, you know.
Yeah, but
it's just get it sorted.
I know.
You know?
And then I get angry with myself because I just think, and I say to you, right, I'm going to put a list on the fridge and I'm going to,
I know,
I
but
do.
It's still not gone on the fridge, has it?
No, because I don't want to cause
unrest.
Yeah, there's this thing then of like, okay, I want help, but I don't want to cause an atmosphere in the house by going, right, you lazy sods, you know, we need help. And I know that this is what Sonny said to me the other day. He said, just tell me what you need doing and I'll do it. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, but I shouldn't need to tell you.
Yeah, open your eyes.
You should just see it. But what 23-year-old or 20-year-old walks into their mum and dad's house and or walks into their home because it's not them?
I'll get the vacuum out.
I think I'll get the vacuum out. I don't think I'll go and lay on my bed and look at TikTok. Yeah. I think I'll go and I think I'll just ask everyone what they want for dinner and I'll get onto that now.
Oh, I've taken TikTok off my phone, but I'll watch it on the computer instead.
Am I being unrealistic? Or am I being like, what's it called? Not FOMO. When you think other people have got it better than you, is that just unrealistic? Because in my mind, I bet other people who have got adult kids living at home, I bet they're really helping out and I bet they don't struggle like we do.
No, they're all in their own little world, aren't they?
Which you were, and I was.
And we are in our own little world.
Yeah.
You know, it's the way they look at it, it's like, well, it's your house. And it's like, yeah, but you're living here.
Yeah, rent-free.
So, you know, when you're a kid, but now you're an adult, you act in adult ways.
But, as I've told you many times, we have this conversation probably about 10 times a week about how we need to start asking for more help.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what it comes down to, doesn't it?
What we're not changing.
Yeah, we either pay for help or, exactly. Yeah.
And we can, you know that if we said to the kids, right, but it almost has to get to this horrible, it does with me anyway. I mean, you don't, but I do. Screaming like, why is no one helping?
I know.
You're all so lazy. I'm not the slave around here. Well, that's what I sound like. I know I do. At least I'm being honest.
Yep.
And then everyone's like, oh, what's wrong with her? Why is she crying? What's the matter? What have we done? And it's like, I shouldn't let it get to that stage.
Yeah,
I should say, right, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're hoovering the house.
Yeah.
Wednesday, Thursday, you're emptying the bins and doing the bathrooms, whatever. And I just haven't. And neither of you.
No.
So I think it also goes back to being able to ask for help. And like I keep saying, what you're not changing, you're choosing.
Yeah,
and if you're choosing it, you can't moan.
And that's that what you're not changing. The lawnmower went pop, didn't it? And the gearbox failed on it, and again another gearbox. It's a self-propelled lawnmower because it takes you 3 hours to do the lawns, and it's like, right, I'll go and have a look at fix it. And you just said, just forget it and buy a new one.
Yeah,
because it gets to the point where you just think, do you know what? Yes, because why would I spend 4 hours now trying to fix the gearbox that'll probably last another 4 weeks?
Exactly.
Because it's such a shitty little gearbox that's been fixed so many times on it, But again, I know how to fix it. But again, if something else has snapped inside, then do you know what? What was the point? Just go and buy a new one.
I think, Bri, once you start, like for the last, when did we come back from Europe? 2022 or something like that? And since then, we've just let the house roll.
Yeah,
we've apart from when we went to Canada, which was, when we did that house swap and we like tidied up and everything like that, and we sorted, we thinned down a lot of our stuff. But I think once you start putting your mind to thinking, I'm going to either downsize or I'm going to rent or I'm going to travel or I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And you start putting your mind to having to address the shed, the garage, the wardrobe, the pantry, the bathrooms. It starts, you realise that, shit, I've got a lot of work in front of me.
Yeah.
So you can either ask for help, you can either let things go and think, is it really that important that I do this?
But that's the thing. It's like, talking about like after the winter in New Zealand, there's a lot to do normally because there's things that, decks are mouldy, slimy, and there's cobwebs everywhere. So, there's always that, as in is most places, but it's particularly bad here. I don't know why. That, and again, it's just like, do we sell the house and downsize so you don't have 2 acres of land to look after?
Do you know what? I can really, really see the, like the whole world at the moment. They seem to be in this thing where they just want to go and live in a cabin in the woods.
I know, just get away from everything.
And get away from everything. And I've always, because here is paradise.
It is. It's gorgeous.
It's absolutely beautiful. But I think, I don't know if it's, I don't want to go, it's because you're getting older. I think you just put in a lot on your plate, trying to do a lot. Like if we were just staying here and every weekend we didn't have the business that we've got that takes a lot of energy and a lot of creativity and a lot of, and I'm not saying no one else's job is, when I say that, I'm always very mindful
we've done
of
multiple jobs. I know what it's like to be a tradie. I know what it's like to crawl around in the houses on hands and knees and expend extreme amounts of energy, and to have to keep going. And you as well have had jobs like that. We've both worked in hospitality as well, so we know hard work when it hits us in the face. And this is no different. It's not easy creating. It's not, It's this is enjoyable doing podcasts like this, but this is a small part of it, isn't it?
I love it. I love it so much. And to me, and we've talked about this again before, anything, writing, podcasting, videoing, creating communities, mastermind groups, all of it, I love it with all my heart. And that's the danger, is when you love something so much that it doesn't feel like work to you. So you just do it. And then when someone else asks you to do something else, like, oh, well, can you go and clean the fridge so I can unload all this? It's like, what? I haven't got time for that. Because I'm full of doing what I love. And then that just seems like an annoyance. Like all that is annoying. And that's what I was just going to say to you. When you see these people, we went down the campsite for a walk the other night and you said to me, see, look at them. They just look like really calm and happy. And the guy, they were sitting there was a foursome, weren't they? And they had this big flash caravan.
Big flash Corvette as well.
Big flash Corvette. And they're sitting in these big flash seats outside their caravan. They've got a big bottle of champagne.
Big bottle of flash champagne.
Exactly. And they're sitting there and they've got grey hair and they're in their 65, 70, 75 maybe. And they do look happy and calm. And I said to you...
Until I said to them, hey mate, there's something dripping at the bottom of your caravan there.
Oh, is that a that bit of peel?
Yeah,
is that a bit of sun damage?
Is that oil? And is that an oil patch underneath the Corvette, mate? Smoking a bit, that one.
But I said to you, that is because these people have probably worked all their life.
Yeah.
They've got a pension, they're retired, and they're enjoying their retirement.
Yeah.
And we have chosen not to go down that route in life.
Yeah.
Haven't we?
Well, to a degree, yeah.
Well, we have.
Yeah.
We have, Bri.
Yeah.
We don't do that. We're not retiring. We haven't got a pension.
I don't want to ever retire.
No, and it's just as well because we haven't got a pension, so we can't.
I want to just keep going. I just don't want to think, all right, so pipe and slippers, pop your clogs.
But you know what I mean? You can't have both. You can't have the life that we've chosen to have where we can travel the world and go couch surfing and house sitting and house swapping and all these and create content on YouTube and then expect to sit down at the end of the day with our perfectly manicured lawn that we have got the time to do and our perfectly clean garage and our pristine caravan and car. You can't have both.
No.
You can't.
No, you can't. Yeah. It's true, but you said you weren't going to be able to ship anything in on this podcast, Liz.
Oh, I've loved this.
So there you go.
It. Yeah.
And you know what? I learned something as well. And so it's a good thing when you do learn more, but it kind of contradicts what I'm saying with about knowing too much. Not that's what the gist of me that annoys me sometimes because even if I don't know, it annoys me that I don't know, so I'll find out and
like what? Give me an example.
Well, fixing an automatic gearbox on the Peugeot. One of the solenoids had gone on it, which is a pressure relief. So when you're driving along, all of a sudden, clang! All the warning lights come on. Gearbox faulty. Figuring out there's going to be a solenoid in there. Solenoid is an electromechanical valve that just opens and closes, or can be variable, halfway open, halfway closed. And I'd never done it before. Stripped it down. And thought, oh, there they are. Found them, unbolted it. Help of a YouTube video a little bit. And so it's stuff. I'm not a mechanic, but I'll give it a go. You land on your back underneath a car with hot oil rippling down your arms and stuff, and got it back and working. So that's that type of thing is like because I'm mechanically minded and I've been a service engineer for many years on heating systems and stuff. So you know how to take something apart, and put it back together.
So do you think it's to your detriment that you do this?
It saves a fortune, but that's what we're talking about, isn't it? It's like, so you then spend the money somewhere else. But if you go, it's like you haven't got any money, but then your car needs filling up. You find the money to fill the car up because it seems to be an essential, doesn't it? So you find the money from somewhere is what I'm trying to say. Or go into debt for it or whatever it is. So I don't know what I'm trying to say, but when you can do it yourself, but you don't value your time as money. And you should, because you could be earning something else, doing something, that makes you money. I always remember that time, the guy from the construction company, we'd give a price in, it was an extra because these people wanted this doing. So we gave a price in to do it, and they came back and said, that's too expensive. And the guy sitting at the table said, I think that's a fair price. He can go somewhere else and get the same money. So why would he do it cheaper for you? Do you see what I'm trying to say? Because there was no value in the time.
How would you feel now? Tell the truth.
Yep.
How would you feel now if me and you just sitting here doing this podcast?
Yep.
Bearing in mind we don't even get paid for this podcast, so I say that we're doing this podcast for work, but this is just content that we just this is our therapy session.
Yeah, but it is a bit of both, isn't it? Yeah, but this is why we do it, because it helps other people, doesn't it, to get through the same problems, hopefully, because there's going to be someone listening like me who's a handy guy. And go, all right.
And hopefully there is another couple that is listening to this. They're thinking, that is exactly what we're going through. That's exactly how we feel. That's always our aim with this podcast, is to reach those people. But going back to it, how would you feel then if we're just sitting here now and a gardener just walked around down the garden there, and he had his like lawnmower in front of him, and his.
I'd be like, I'm doing a podcast, mate. Can you turn it off? No,
come on, and he said, just going to do your lawns, Bri.
Yeah. And
then behind him was a guy with a big water tank on his back, and he said, I'm just here to spray the spiders, mate.
Yep.
I'm just going to wash down the house. And then the window cleaner turned up.
Yep.
And he said, actually, while I'm here, I'm just going to have your windows washed.
Yeah.
And then a woman turned up and said, I'm here to
Clean the shower.
I'm here to do all the clean. I don't know why I said woman. That's why I hesitated, because I thought, oh God, that sounds a bit sexist.
Yeah.
Okay, so then a man turns up and he says,
a person.
a man turns up and it's funny, isn't it, how you go to that
I know,
man-woman
isn't
thing.
it
I'm
weird,
so
isn't it?
guilty
Yeah.
of that.
Mm.
But and then a man turns up and he says, you know, I'm here to clean your showers. I'm going to give him a good going over. Everything's going to be clean. And then the delivery guy turns up and says, "Did you? Someone's ordered all your meals for this week. Our service is that we put it in your fridge. We're going to clean your fridge first, and then we'll put it in your fridge."
Yeah.
How would you feel?
It sounds good. Which it does, doesn't it? Hello Fresh have turned up. We've never had Hello
Everything,
Fresh.
all that.
Do you know what? There's a thing. So, and this is again, it's how reliable is it? The guy up the road has been cutting our lawns for a month or so while the lawnmower was bust. Yeah, and he fell off his motorbike or came off his motorbike and is now having reconstructive surgery on his shoulder, and he's out of action for a minimum of probably 2-3 months. So,
you haven't answered the question.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like if it was super reliable and people turned up as they said they were going to do,
they're all super reliable.
Then again, yeah, I don't know how I would feel, because part of it is just part of it is just. What was the question again? Joking.
Right.
See, there's a thing that you miss out. And so it sounds like you're contradicting yourself. When you do something, you get job satisfaction out of doing things, especially if you fix something. Even though it's taking your time. If it's working, then great. But if it doesn't fix it, it really pees you off, like, you know. So there's a certain amount of enjoyment I get out of cutting the lawn. And there's a certain amount of enjoyment I get about cleaning the windows or washing the house down.
Mm.
It's hard doing it because you've got other things to do. I suppose if you looked at it and said, okay, you don't have to do the editing, you don't have to do the podcast with Liz, you don't have to do that, and all you've got to do is sort the house out. You know, within 2 weeks, you'd be like, okay, it's all done now.
Right. Okay.
Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this as with my coachy head on.
Yeah.
And what I see is you just want to be
Left alone.
There
you go.
Left alone to do the jobs that you need to do in the house. Because actually you're saying that you don't like doing it, but I think you don't mind doing it because, like you've just said, you get great job satisfaction. And I know you do. And I tease you about this. Oh, Brian likes to get the windows done. And I'm not saying, like, you know, I know I tease you and go, oh, you're a clean freak and all that. But I actually think that you get a lot of satisfaction doing things like that.
Yeah, because when you get a window cleaner in, they just clean the glass. They don't clean all the rails underneath, do they, where all the flies are. And
everything,
stuff,
everything that I suggest that we pay for, you always come back with, but they won't do it as well as I do it. So, like, even the other day when I said to you, take the car up to Lex, I said, just take the car. Well, he won't know anything that I don't know. And I said, no, I know that, but I'm just saying we'll pay for him to fix the car so you don't have to. No, I'd rather have a look at it myself. So going back to what we were just saying, I think you just want time.
Yeah, that's what the whole thing is about. But
what do you want time away from? What don't you want to do? What do you want to be let off?
Well, I think what it is, because you've got a list of things in your head that need to be done. Because the winter's coming and I don't want another winter. You know, there's a little bit of wood that the guy who installed the deck, because one of the decks we got the guy to do it, and he cut a bit of the wood out from the house that he shouldn't have cut out, so the water got in there. And on a couple of the corners, it's you know, because it's not tunnelized wood, it should have just been painted, but he cut through the paint to get the deck closer to the house, and it's just like, oh, why did we let him do that? I should have flagged that up and seen it, but I didn't see it because it was underneath the deck board. Anyway. So there's things like that need fixing before the winter comes, because I don't want another winter to go through. Not that it'll really affect the house, but I just don't like having that sort of thing around. So that's what I'm saying. There's a whole load of things to do that you can just go, if you just let me do it, a bit like when I was doing the boat, I did it over about a 2-week period and it gets done. And then it's something less that you don't have to worry about.
So you don't want the help. You don't want.
It's not so much the help. No, it's the time. Because
I know,
I
but
enjoy
Sonny has
doing
offered,
certain
Sonny
things.
has offered to do the grass on Saturday.
Yeah,
now we've just
probably.
slacked Sonny off and said he never helps us. He actually came in yesterday.
He
and
did
said,
say, because you know
I'm
why?
off work on
Because there's a new lawnmower.
Oh, no,
turned
it
up.
isn't at all. It isn't. It isn't that. He just wants to help.
Yeah.
And he offered, he said, I'll cut the grass on Saturday for you. I've got a day off. He works as a front of house in a bar in town. And he said, when I come home on Saturday, I've got the day off and I'll do the grass. And you said no.
Yep.
Why?
Because it's a new lawnmower. It's not been used and I want to give it a go.
Okay. So
that's just a man thing, isn't
all right,
it? You know?
okay. So going back then, so now you...
If anyone's going to break it, it may as well be me in the first hour, mightn't it? Instead of Sonny, I drove into this and dinged it all. Like,
right,
thanks.
Poor
Because he
Sonny,
does.
Poor Sonny. Anyway, okay. So you want to be left alone to do your things. Because you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking, why don't we give this a go for a week and then come back and do a podcast and just tell us how you got on?
Right.
I mean, what do you want? What do you want freedom from? What do you not want to do anymore? For a whole week, if I said to you, Bri, I'm just going to let you do all your things on the house.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do what is fill in the blank. You don't have to do what? What is it?
Just administration and stuff and things like that. And just, editing takes such a long time just to get things to put it together. Like, and you just think, it's only a 20-minute video or half an hour video, but it's just like, but you've got to put the front in, you've got to this, you've got to find this bits, you've got to do all your levels, you've got to do all, it takes probably 5 hours to do it. And then there's another one to do after that. And then there's another one to do after that. So it's a whole day. And then you've got all these list of things in your back of your mind that I need to get that done. And they just don't get done.
All right.
Because life gets in the way.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. So we've got 2 pieces of content that need to be done with this that we're recording now.
Yep.
If we want to release this next week, needs to be edited.
Yep.
And the one that we did this morning for YouTube about life in New Zealand, that one that we've just done, that needs to be edited.
Yep.
Everything else can wait.
There's two other.
No, I know, but we can.
Do
I know there are.
well.
I know. There's Will and Ira's and the Guilty podcast that we made.
Yes.
But we can put those to the back of the pile.
But you see what I mean?
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying to you.
Yeah.
I'm offering you this.
Yes.
Just forget about those ones.
Yeah.
So just do the 2
that we need.
Yep.
Yep.
And then for a whole week, you don't do anything else. I'll do all the Slack. I'll do the community. I'll do all that, the content, that side of it.
Yeah.
You just concentrate a whole week on the things that you need to do in the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll come back and we'll do a podcast next Friday and we'll see how you feel, if it feels different to you.
Yeah.
And then you can maybe say whether you think
whether it worked,
and also like whether you want people to come in and help you or just that whole point.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not something that's, that it bothers you like that, but it's trying to clear your mind, isn't it? So you don't have all this debris in the background, which of things that are pressing to do. And a lot of people, don't like things to do because that's why they do what's on their mind now, do it now, instead of working methodically through a list of things, which is the correct way. Being a tradie, you have to do things in a set way and do things. Otherwise, you can't function. You can't put that off. You can't do this because, you know what, they're coming home tonight. They need hot water. So, I know what it's like to work to schedules or whatever it is, procedures and things. And that's why stuff on the house always gets put to the back. You put things to the back, And I don't think that's a great idea. It's almost like, do you just think, right, finish in the next 2 days, do all your videos, get that done, and then you can do the week's work on the house.
Is that what you want to do then?
I think that'd be a better way of doing it, yeah.
Okay, do that then.
Yeah. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, because the longer you leave a video, you don't know where the edits are because, like the one we did today, we know at 20 minutes, we take a break for a commercial break type thing, and then we struggled with getting back into the show, didn't we? And then had to retake. So
also, I just want to say as well is don't forget how valued you are by. No,
but
because you do everything, and like you said, you do everything.
Yeah.
You do the fixing, the boat selling, the car servicing, the the house maintenance, you do the editing for our business, you do the community, you run that.
I service all the cars. There's 4 cars.
I already
said
the cars. I already said that.
Yeah.
You service all the cars. You made the dinner with me last night. You made the steak, didn't you? I tell you, that annoyed me though, Bri. I've got to say that annoyed me. Because I was the one that made all the peri.
It makes me laugh when they sit down. Because it
pisses me off. They do it every time.
You made the homemade peri sauce.
I made the peri sauce.
Yeah.
I did all the vegetables.
Yeah, the roast vegetables.
All you did was put the steak on the barbecue. And when we sat down for dinner,
they
were like,
just put the steak
Dad,
on the barbecue.
thank you so much.
I actually peeled 30, 40 cloves of garlic because it's a piece of steak, a piece of garlic, a bay leaf, piece of steak.
Anyway,
and that's how it. And it's on skewers.
I'm not bitter. I know how much you do. Yeah. I know how much.
But vice versa, yeah.
I know. Yeah. I know. We're a team.
Yes,
we are.
That's what we were saying the other
team.
Day. Without the other, we can't do that.
Yeah, yeah.
And like
exactly.
I say, if I step back from this, you have to take over. Why I do that?
And I will. Of course, I will.
Yeah, and then the guilt comes in, doesn't it? Like, you're doing that, and but
no,
again,
there's no
you
need
shouldn't
to have
do
any
because
guilt.
it's a team.
No, exactly. We're a team, and there's no need to have any guilt whatsoever.
Yeah.
Because you are going to do that.
Yep.
And next week you'll have it all finished.
You ready? Might take 2. I'm a tradie list. So it's like, it only took me a week, mate. Yeah, 3 weeks. We have trouble with that.
Right, we're going to wrap things up now. We're going to say goodbye. And don't forget, we have got our little private 5 minutes. So I'm going to go.
5? I can't talk for 5 minutes by myself.
Just however long it takes you.
It'll be 30 seconds for being
Let's
all
just
done.
try it and see what it's like. Yeah. And then we can finish off. But let us know if you enjoyed this podcast, if you enjoyed the format, and how you like the behind the scenes sort of like glimpse at us doing our own little thing here.
Yep.
I think that's a good idea. That I like it because that's always what I want. So
a glimpse at the end.
Yeah, just
because when the podcast ends, it's like,
I know.
Yeah,
and
unless you're like, thank God that one's over.
Okay, so until next time, please leave us a comment if you're watching on YouTube, a review if you are listening on Apple or wherever you are listening to this podcast. Don't forget that you can sign up for our free 5-day video guide if you are interested in New Zealand. I will put that link below. And you can also sign up for my newsletter if you like behind the scenes-y sort of stuff and like to hear me writing about all that. The newsletter is always the first to go to. And I will also put the link in the description for that too. So
yeah,
I'm going to say it will be Bry's turn first to have what he wants to say.
Right.
Until next time, don't forget, my heart beats with yours. I appreciate you so much for giving us this opportunity to be able to sit and talk on the podcast and give us your ear for that. Email us, Liz at It's a Drama, Brian at It's a Drama. Sign up for the newsletter, sign up for the free New Zealand 5-day video guide. All of those avenues will bring you to us, and we would love to have you. So until next time, I will speak to you soon.
Yep. So kia kaha, stay strong, kia u, stay true, and even true to yourself and true to your wiring skills as well. So I'm going to see you on the boat because I'm going to go to the boat to do my little farewell.
Oh, okay.
Farewell thing. Well, here I am. I'm on my boat and the farewell video from the boat. But yeah, it's just to finish up with what we were saying. Again, I love Liz so much, and Liz, I know you can't edit this out because I'm saying I love you here, and I appreciate everything that you do. But talking about things again that get in the way, and it's time to let go of something, and that's what really we're trying to say. Is like you hold on to things and you just think, I won't do this, won't do that, and that's what I wanted to try and get through today. Was like, do you know what? Let go. Because if you hang on to stuff, you're holding on too tight to things, then, you're just not going to move forward. And you just think, but I love my boat, or I love my car, or I love this. And it's just like, do you know what? If it's costing you time and money, then get rid of it and move on, And this little boat, here it is. We've done so much. I'm selling all the skis and stuff like that with it. It's all been cleaned out and, ready to sell. And it's quite refreshing to think someone's going to take it over and just think, yeah, you'll get the benefit of it, and hopefully you'll be out doing some good stuff with it. So you're passing it on, you're not throwing it in the dump. It's worth spending time to fix things, get things done up. It's better for the environment. The engine at the back there, it's 1988, still works and starts first time, and you just think, how brilliant is that? And yes, the power trim works. From my button down here, it all does the stuff. So yep, I hope you enjoyed the podcast, and if you do like this where we talk at the ends, just to let you know how we feel. We said it'd just be a couple of minutes, and I think I'm up to nearly 2 minutes now, so I don't want to take more of your time. So like I say, kia kaha, stay strong, kia stay true. Love you loads, so you can't say I didn't mention you, alright? And don't forget, if you want to see the video of this, it's on Spotify, it'll be on YouTube as well, or just on any podcasting app that is the audio only. So see you next time. Take care. Cheers now. Bye.
Okay, I'm here to do my little piece, my private podcast bit. It feels so weird, and this is my idea, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is a good idea, because now I just feel super vulnerable, and I'm aware that, like, what am I going to say? But here's what I'm going to say. I'm just going to tell you what's on my mind after we've just recorded that podcast together, me and Brian. I think Brian, in the last 18 months, has just given without ever asking for anything. He has been a rock, an absolute strong rock, and I think he has got into the habit of, habit's the wrong word, he's just got into, well, maybe habit isn't the wrong word, I think he's just thought that that's what's come to be expected of him, to just keep strong and keep going. And at the moment, and I know we haven't told you what's happening, but we're doing stuff that needs doing and is taking a lot of effort, and still having to do everything else, and on top of that, like we went into town yesterday, and I have a meltdown, like in town, because I'm still struggling with the grief of mum. And so on top of everything, we're not talking about that on the podcast, but I'm telling you, but on top of that everything, he's also got, is Liz okay? Like, just keeping Liz and the family right. And I don't know if it came over on that podcast or not when I was just saying, but I feel stronger now. I feel ready, able, willing, wanting to stand up and be there for Brian as his team member. And for the last 18 months, I haven't felt like that. I've just felt like, you're going to have to help me here because I'm drowning, And I can see it. I can see it that he needs help, and I'm going to give it to him through being a team together. So, this isn't what this was supposed to be like. This really wasn't what this was supposed to be like, but this is it. So, we're going to try this week. We will, I'm stepping up, and it will be equal, and it will be just, I'm going to help. And yeah, that's all I want to say. I think it's just being super aware and being grateful, and like payback time, and I know that if I said that to Brian, he'd be like, he wouldn't let me say it. He would just be like, no, don't be silly. That's not what this is at all. But it is. That's how I feel. I just think you've just given so much, and I can see him struggling, and he needs help, and we're going to remove some of the stuff off his plate. So he's got some space and he's got some time. So that's it. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for allowing us this luxury of being able to speak to you like this. And not only that, feeling safe enough and brave enough and courageous enough to do that, because you've created this space for me especially, and I really, really appreciate you for doing that. So don't know if mine's going before Brian's or Brian's is going before mine, but whichever, we will see you next week. Sending you lots of love, and my heart beats with yours. Okay, bye.
Hello.
Why would anyone leave the hot summer of New Zealand to come and stay in Canada in the middle of winter? Well, let us tell you why. Today we bring you this podcast from beautiful British Columbia, where we are staying for a month house swapping, and have decided to do a podcast episode from the chairlift in the middle of the ski resort to tell you why we're in Canada, what we think of Canada, and everything in between. This is the other thing we were worried about. You know how like where you go somewhere when you're younger and you build it up in your mind, and like, you're like, oh, we were so happy there and everything was just great. So what did you think of it when you came back? Was it? So let's get on that ski lift and find out just what British Columbia has in store. Ooh, hang on.
Nice day.
The ski pass, isn't that really cool?